I stand before you, else you believe still that you are free. But I truly say to you today that none are more hopelessly enslaved than those who believe that they are free. The truth is out there. I have found it. I will now help you to find it. I am a truther. Now, before I go into the three world wars, I'm going to go into about who Albert Pike was. Now, he was a brigadier general, which is a very high rank in the Confederate Army. You know, these guys, the bad side of the Civil War, the ones who were with slavery. He was also a 33rd degree Freemason, and he was a top leader in the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. You know, these guys who burn crosses and blacks. Now, and they also have a statue of him in Washington, D.C., you know. They brought down a Confederate flag in, like, what was it, Alabama or something? And yet this stands. You know, why not get rid of that? Because it's protected. Now, that's who Albert Pike was. Now, into the three world wars. Keep in mind that he did die before 1900. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the power of the Tsars in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergence is caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and the Germanic empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. Now, students of history will recognize that this did happen. Alright, the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantages of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. Now, this also happened. Now, readers, a lot of people, argue that the terms Nazism and Zionism were not known in 1871, which is when this guy lived, but you should remember that the Illuminati invented both those movements. So, and the Third World War, which has not yet happened yet. Now, if the First and Second World War were both true and are accurate, then the Third World War will most likely be as well. Now, the Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. This manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Now, since 9/11, Israel and Middle East basically have been at war. Now, this war will most likely spread so that they do mutually destroy each other. Now, a bit of a translation of this with smaller words. The other nations, like, they'll be divided. They will fight for it, one side or the other. America will most likely fight for Israel, and so on. So physically, morally, spiritually, and economically, this country and many others will fall. Then the nihilists will be unleashed, and the atheists. Now, definition of nihilism: the rejection of all religious and moral principles, often the belief that life is meaningless. Extreme skepticism, maintaining that nothing in the world has real existence. Now, these people without moral principles and believing that life is meaningless won't care about life and will go about killing and such. Atheism, disbelief or lack of belief in the existence of God or gods. Now, they will unleash them, and they shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm. Now, a social cataclysm is any violent upheaval, especially one of social or political nature. A sudden and violent physical action producing changes in the Earth's surface. Now, that could be anything from a horrendous disease coming, or, now this is gonna sound far out, but zombie apocalypse. Who knows what that will be? Could be the power going out and everyone losing their fucking minds. All of those are different options. Now, said social cataclysm will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism. Absolute atheism, meaning they don't believe in the existence of God or gods in such a way that they will become savage and begin bloody turmoil, meaning fights basically. Then afterwards of that, the citizens will defend themselves against that world minority of revolutionaries. They will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and after that, the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction. Now, deism is belief in the existence of a supreme being, specifically of a creator who does not intervene in the universe. term is used chiefly. Now, so basically they're going to be praying and all this, and they will see that their God will not come. For that is the tribulation, foretold in Revelation. They will be anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render their adoration. They will bring Lucifer out, finally into the public view. Now, it's already in the view of the people in charge. Alright, now, they can only do that once both Christianity and atheism are destroyed. They will be both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Now, since 9/11, these things have been happening. Israel and the Muslims have been flipping out on each other for who knows why and stuff like that. Now, you may not be wanting to believe this, your very eyes, but I truly say to you today, 2 Timothy 4:3-4, for there will be a period of time when they will not put up with the healthful teaching, but, in accord to their own desires, they will accumulate teachers for themselves to have their ears tickled, and they will turn their ears away from the truth, whereas they will be turned aside to false stories. Now, if you don't want to believe your very ears, then see this. You yourself are surrounding yourselves with teachers who just tickle your ears, and you are therefore turning your ears away from the truth, and rather you want false stories. Verse 5, you though, keep your senses in all things. Suffer evil, do the work of an evangelizer, fully accomplish your ministry. Keep your senses. Please, do not turn aside to the truth. Come, my brethren, take courage and stand beneath our banner. The darkness closes in, and we are the only defenders of the light. March to victory, and arise triumphant.